This made me sink into depression. Have you ever thought you had enough time to get to doing something really important, especially solving a problem? Have you ever felt you should wait till you had enough resources? You should wait till you had enough energy. You should wait till you had enough support. You should wait till it didn't feel so scary to get to doing it, only for that thing that you should have done to literally hit you unexpectedly and get your world crashing. Hi, I'm Zakia, founder and creative director of Zakia Mahama, and I'm here to share a little story about my journey so far as an entrepreneur and a fashion designer, a mom, and a person who's had to struggle with mental health. It turns out that I did not have as much time that I thought I did to do the work and deal with my struggles. Of course, I did not know exactly what it was I was dealing with, but I knew there was something that needed counseling. I have had counseling on 2 occasions. First in 2015 and second in 2019. I was fortunate on those 2 occasions. I was fortunate enough to have been introduced or met to very generous female therapists who gave me free sessions. And during those 2 sessions, I came to understand a little bit about how to manage, or better yet, I came to understand a little bit about the symptoms I was experiencing. And then I also learned how to journal, and journaling helped me manage some of the symptoms. It was a single 2 or 3 sessions, but those sessions were not enough for, let's say, an actual diagnosis. And because the therapy and the exercises I was giving at the time helped, and I was like feeling a bit better, or I didn't have to deal with whatever the issue was, I thought I was fine and I was good to go. And I went on with my life and, starting a business and just moving on with life like, I was fine. But I always knew that I would have to get back to it at some point. I just always thought I had time to do it. And I tried other ways to find solutions to them, but none worked. Okay, so thanks to the therapy sessions I had then, I did some cognitive behavioral therapy exercises. I had a better understanding of why I was dealing with or experiencing what I was experiencing, some of the symptom I was experiencing at the time that was like very troubling. I also learned how to journal, and journaling at the time really helped because we usually have so much hidden inside us, so much that we sweep and dust under the carpet that never goes away. And sometimes just writing them down, letting them out, finding an outlet helps make you feel better. So I thought I was good. As far as I was concerned, hey, journaling helped. I don't have to deal with those experiences anymore. I'm good. But I always knew I would have to go back to therapy because I know exactly what I experienced and how traumatizing those experiences were as a child. And I have a background in psychology. I have a degree in psychology. I knew enough to know that I still would need therapy. I just only thought I had time to get to it when I could. Unfortunately, you know how things take you by surprise. This is what happened. I was taken by surprise when my business had some crisis. rent crisis, to be specific, because my showroom was in Osu, and my landlord eventually wanted his space back after doubling my rent and having to reduce it because I was trying really hard to negotiate, and it seemed like um, he was okay without our new negotiated price. He came back a month later saying that he wanted his space back. The very last time we posted anything on social media as a brand was in October, uh, after the Chalewote Festival. And after that, we've literally been quiet, especially on social media. And the thing is, we're working on our next collection. We had completed prototypes, and we're working on sample pieces. And so, there was work going on. Yes, we may not have had content for social media, but we still had work going on. For a young entrepreneur who is trying to get her fashion brand established, and then maybe eventually move on to doing some philanthropic duties, which really were mental health related. I've always actually had those plans, and fashion as a business was supposed to help me also fulfill those goals. It was a very big blow, to have to lose my showroom, my shop, and also to have to let our employees go, at least temporarily. Um, it was a good source of income for some people, including myself. And so it was very devastating for me. And so I spent a couple of months at home trying to reorganize. Fortunately for me, there was a project that had already started that was meant to be used as a studio for Zakia Mahama. It just wasn't there yet. And moving our equipment and machines and fabrics to that space was was not ideal, or at least I didn't feel it was ideal, because I had now been forced to stay at home, and I wasn't as active as I used to be. There was no business to run for now, and so I was forced to stay at home. And staying at home, not doing much, meant that I had time to think. I had time to reflect. I had time to question myself and even question my decisions as an entrepreneur, and how it got me to where I was, or how it got my business to where it had reached. This made me sink into depression like so bad that I eventually didn't want to go out. I couldn't. I would usually struggle to get out of bed. There were several times when I couldn't pick up calls. The best I could do sometimes is to text and say, hey, I can't talk right now, please text. If anyone who received a message like that from me between November to March, was probably because if I picked up the call, I would have to be answering questions about why I wasn't okay. I preferred to just keep to myself. I missed a lot of activities, invitations to breakfast, lunch, dinner, weddings, parties, fashion events, family events. I missed them all because I just couldn't bring myself to going out. I was very sad. And my sadness was not really about my business, it had now reached the point where I was thinking about so many things, especially things that had happened to me, and those very ones that I did not give myself time to deal with. Everything came all at once. Almost every bad experience I had ever had literally came crashing on me at the same time. And I knew enough to start journaling. I knew journaling would help. And this was the period where I started writing down pieces for a mental health page on social media called Still Sane Podcast. So the thing is, I was eventually diagnosed of PTSD, which is short for post-traumatic stress disorder. I'm sure you're wondering, like, what was a traumatic event and when did it happen? It couldn't have been because you had to move from your shop home. No, that wasn't it. I had actually been suffering from symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder for over 20 years, since I was in junior high school. Yes, the symptoms may not have been intense throughout my life, depending on the stressful events that were happening at the time. Some symptoms are a bit more intense than others, and it was because of one of those symptoms that I went for therapy. I mentioned back in 2015, because it was really intense and I struggled to get over it. I was surprised to find that what I was dealing with was post-traumatic stress disorder. I thought it was depression. I'm quite certain that anyone who's known me in the last 30 something years, in the last 5 years, my family, my friends would be surprised to find that they've been around me this long and had absolutely no idea that I was dealing with something that big. See, that's the thing about traumatic experiences and or mental health issues. They never go away. They may stay hidden for a while, for several years, like in my case. At some point when I was growing up, I literally almost did not have any memory of some of the bad experiences I had been through. I was just like any other child, any other young adult, any other teenager, going about her business from secondary school to home, mingling with her family members, friends, all that. I did all that. And when I was in university, I was just a normal university student. There was nothing unique, nothing different, nothing odd about me. But I'm finding out that we do not always have time, because when we leave mental health issues, traumatic experiences untreated, they're like demons that rear their heads when you least expect them. And it can take a long time to get better or to get out of those dark periods. And this is what I, as an entrepreneur, have been dealing with, and why my business has had to go on hold up until now, of course. One of the things I had to do during this period was first journaling, which I had learned previously works really well. and I did a bit of research, read more about mental health conditions. I also learned to ask for help. That's always been one of my biggest challenges. I hate to inconvenience anybody, especially with things that I think I can handle myself. But there are times when you desperately do need help, but you find it difficult to ask. One of the good things I got to do during this period while I was taking time to heal is to learn to ask for help. I took a very intentional decision that this is one of the things I was going to do better, was to ask for help when I need it. We can't always do it all. And it's okay if you get a no after you ask for help. At least you know the person is not in the position to help and you've taken your chances. It's always been one of my weaknesses, doing it all, at least trying to do it all by myself. The second thing I had to work on is therapy. It was a good thing to do because I had a better understanding of what it is that I was dealing with. And I had diagnosis for my condition. Post-traumatic stress disorder means that you have experienced something really traumatic at any point in your life, and that trauma has led you to suffer certain symptoms. The people that usually experience post-traumatic stress disorder will be soldiers or people that have been in combat or any war like situation, civilians who have been in experienced some war or combat, anyone who has been involved in an accident can also experience post-traumatic stress disorder. Anyone who's been physically or sexually abused can experience post-traumatic disorder. There's a few other examples, but these are the ones I can remember. Hopefully in another video we can get to discuss into details what my traumatic experiences were. But now I just want to say that if I didn't show up for you when you needed a friend, if I didn't honor your invitation to an event or to hang out, if I didn't pick up a call during this period, if I missed a party or a wedding, if I didn't return a text, if I didn't sound so nice when we spoke, it was really because I couldn't. I had help from a therapist. I also had help from my very supportive family members. Writing my thoughts and my feelings down helped. It really helped me narrow down what my challenges were, and then narrowing it down eventually led me to considering solutions. The thing about therapy also is that the more you understand, the easier it is for you to be helped, because you make your therapist's job a lot easier when you have a better understanding of what you're experiencing, or at least when you write down certain experiences. It just helps them help you much faster. I am not saying I'm entirely a-okay and I no longer have post-traumatic disorder. I do, but I am going through therapy, and I do have a better understanding of why I experienced some of the symptoms that I did. And I got better after I had a better understanding. After it made sense, it was easier to get better. One of the things that I did during this period was also to take the time. Like, I did not rush myself into getting better. I think some of the people around me at the time who knew, or at least at home, were uncomfortable with me being the way I was, being depressed, and at some points there was a suggestion of medication for depression or something of that sort, which the therapist would have had to consider if I had asked or if I had felt I needed it. But I know that I've been running away from this for a really long time, and I decided that this was the time to fix it. This was the time to get to the bottom of my issues, and I didn't want to take drugs that would make me feel okay, because I was afraid that if I felt okay, I wouldn't do the work I needed to. The deep, difficult, heartbreaking, vulnerable, and scary work that I needed to do. I also started taking morning walks, and I learned that exercise, that's good for the body and your mental health. So I started taking morning walks, and after the second morning walk, I kind of, were feeling a bit more energized, that week. And I got to attend an event hosted by the British High Commissioner. I actually styled Amakia Bebrese for that event, and it was the only event I attended during this period. This was on the 4th of January. One of the things that worked in my favor was a chance to complete the project I was already working on for a workshop and a studio. It was slow, well, at least as far as I was concerned, because I was working on a collection. I was working on sample pieces for my next collection. So it was slow for me, but it was a good slow because I got to take care of equally important things. I got to take care of my mental health, without which I can never be the best. I can never be the best version of myself, the best version of an entrepreneur, the best version of a mother, or the best version of a fashion designer. We have completed our new collection and we'll be launching soon. It's been a whirlwind of experiences and events leading to finally completing our new collection. It's called the Patna collection, and Patna means woman king in the native Dagbanli dialect from the northern side of Ghana. For now, Zakia Muhammad's clothes and pieces are going to be sold on the website www.zakiamuhammad.com when our collection is launched and released. Our new studio is located in Ashalibuche. You can walk in anytime, book an appointment, walk in to order your bespoke pieces or to pick up the pieces you have ordered online. This period has also given me the opportunity to start mental health advocacy, which is one of the reasons why I'm sharing this with everybody else. If you want to learn more about mental health and mental wellness, if you're looking to find a therapist, kindly follow my mental health advocacy social media platforms, Instagram and TikTok at still_sane_podcast. To those who contributed anything towards supporting me or my small business, to my mom, my cousins who are also my besties, my friends and other family members, and to my therapist, to everyone who either showed up when I needed them or allowed me my space when I needed it. Thank you. To any person, woman, man, or teenager who may be experiencing a challenging situation related to their business, family, profession, academics, physical, or mental health. I really do pray that the ease you've been yearning for comes sooner than you expect. Ask for help if you need to. Keep the faith and hold on a little longer. I hope sharing this helps you breathe a little easier, because I know there were times when I couldn't breathe well. It really does get easier, so don't give up. Lastly, to every resilient, amazing, and beautiful woman out there who has not yet given up on herself or her dreams, you remain the greatest inspiration to us here at Zakia Mahama. Thank you. Stay blessed.